How you doing, family? This is Portrait Pioneers of Color. We want to do a quick story, kind of a breaking news story here about the Creek Freedmen. I'm sure you probably have heard about this. They've been going through some court cases with the Creek Nation. And so this was posted back on December 1st, about 3 weeks ago. So I wanted to give you information about this. So according to the news article here, it says the Tulsa attorney Demario Solomon Simmons presented his case in a hearing of summary judgment Thursday, calling for justice for the Black Creek Indians. Okay, and we recall that the Black Creek Indians, or the Black Freedmen, that's a term for the emancipated Creeks of African descent who were slaves of the Muskogee Greek tribal members before 1866. Now, we recall they were emancipated under the tribe's 1866 treaty with the United States following the American Civil War. And we know during that time the Creek Nation had allied with the Confederacy. So we do know that the Native Indigenous did hold slaves. And of course, you know, there's nothing new with that. People all over the world held slaves. I mean, we can go all the way back to even Africa and even Roman times, so on and so forth. So they sided with the Confederacy during the Civil War. So after the Civil War was over and the South lost, the Creek Nation had to form a new constitution. So the new constitution, the freedmen were granted full citizenship in the Creek Nation. So what's going on now is there is a court case going on because the Black freedmen have claimed that their rights are being denied. So, continuing on with the article, it says, he states the group is not receiving the same benefits as the rest of the Muskogee Creek tribe, who are the plaintiffs in the case. The packed courtroom at the Muskogee Creek Nation District Courthouse in Okmulgee, Oklahoma, allowed 15 people on each side while others waited outside watching the hearing on their phones. It was a tense scene inside the small courtroom as each party presented their arguments, at times clashing over the evidence being presented. The judge did make a ruling Thursday saying that she'll have a decision before the trial, which is set to begin on April 4th, 2023. Muskogee Attorney General Jerry Wisner, who represents the defendants, released a statement Thursday following the hearing. And the defendants are the Citizenship Board of the Muskogee Creek Nation. So the Attorney General released a statement which reads as follows. The plaintiff's application for citizenship in the Muskogee Creek Nation has previously been denied by the Citizenship Board because petitioners did not meet constitutionally imposed eligibility standards that require demonstrating Creek ancestry by blood, as allowed by Muskogee Creek law. Well, that isn't what the treaty said, but we'll get to that in a minute. Petitioners appealed the board's decision for administrative review by the Muskogee Creek District Court. The release goes on to say the legal scope of today's hearing was narrowly confined to consideration of the plaintiff's motion for summary judgment, requesting a finding that the Citizen Board had not acted consistent with Muskogee Creek law and administrative procedure in denying petitioners' application for citizenship. So there we have it there. And so Solomon Simmons hosted a solidarity gathering Wednesday for dozens of supporters, pointing to the Treaty of 1866, Article 2, as some of the best evidence in this case. He says the law is clear. Creeks of African descent are entitled to citizenship and all their benefits, Solomon Simmons said. Solomon Simmons also said that in 1979, and this is what caused all this, in 1979, the Creek Nation passed a new constitution that omitted the Creek Freedmen. So there you go. We're fighting for our citizenship rights, says Rhonda Grayson. We're entitled to it. Rhonda Grayson's great-grandmother was an original enrollee of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Well, let's read the treaty, friends, and let's see what the 1866 treaty had to say. Okay, so here is a map of the post-Civil War division of the Indian Creek Territory. We see that the 5 tribes are listed there. We see the Creek Nation here, along with Cherokee, the Choctaw, Chickasaw, and the Seminole. And so this ratification of this treaty was June 14th, 1866. It was ratified July 19th, 1866. And let's go to Article 2 of the Constitution. And it reads as follows. It says, the Creeks hereby covenant and agree that henceforth neither slavery nor involuntary servitude otherwise than in the punishment of crimes whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted in accordance with laws applicable to all members of said tribe shall ever exist in said nation. And inasmuch as there are among the Creeks of many persons of African descent. It goes on to say here that they shall have and enjoy all the rights and privileges of native citizens, including an equal interest in the soil and national funds, and the laws of the said nation shall be equally binding upon and give equal protection to all such persons and all others of whatsoever race or color who may be adopted as citizens or members of said tribe. So that is what Article 2 says here. So according to this new Constitution that was written after the Civil War, the Black freedmen were equal members, equal tribe members of the Creek Nation. And of course, as we mentioned later, the Creek people, the nation, however, they decided in 1979 to reorganize the government and their constitution. They came out with a new constitution based on the Oklahoma Indian Welfare Act of 1936. And so it changed its membership rules, requiring the members of descendants listed Indians by blood on the Dawes rolls. And they expelled the Creek Freedmen descendants who could not prove descent from such persons, despite the 1866 treaty asserting their sovereign right to determine citizenship. So again, this trial between the Black Creeks Indians and the Muskogee Creek Nation is set to begin April 4th, 2023, and we will definitely keep an up on this and give you an update as regarding this. So friends, stay safe.